With the 13th pick in the 1996 NBA Draft, the Charlotte Hornets select Kobe Bryant from Lower Merion High School in Pennsylvania.
Stop. Nice fake to the bench and puts it in. 5-assist game. Bryant again. Back-to-back threes for Kobe Bryant.
Good afternoon to you folks, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Oopscast. This is your host, Bryant.
And your host, Keyshawn Desai.
And it is the 1-year anniversary of the tragic death of Kobe Bryant and Gigi Bryant. Left a huge hole into not just my heart and Keyshawn's heart, but also everybody's heart who was a huge basketball fan. And even to the people who aren't basketball fans, it really hurt them. Innocent children and even innocent adults dying in this horrible crash. I just don't know. I was very sad the whole day. Keyshawn, how about you, man?
Dude, you know what, man? I kind of vividly remember that whole day. I remember I just finished working out. I was telling my little brother, yo, let's go play some basketball. We start talking a little bit shit to each other because, that's what brothers do. I go on my phone for a second. I see Shams report. He's like, reportedly TMZ reported that there's a rumor that the helicopter crashed and Kobe Bryant was in it. 30 minutes later, they're confirming it's Kobe's death. And man, my whole world was rocked, just reading that. And I read that to my little brother. An hour later, they talk about the rest of the deaths of the families, the pilot, the two other families there, and Gigi Bryant. I'm like, man, this is so fucked up,
Dude, I remember I was home alone and watching the news, and then I was in a good mood, before I heard about all this. So I forgot my phone, right? So I go to my room, I pick it up, I see Sham tweeted, Kobe Bryant was involved in the helicopter crash. He passed away. I'm like, wait, is this a joke or something? And I'm starting to wonder, what the fuck is going on? And then I turn on the TV again. I turn on the Sports Center, and it was just breaking news. I'm like, no fucking way. Is this for real? And then about a few hours later, they say Gigi was involved, and these other children, Alyssa Altobelli, the other one was Peyton Chester and Arzubain, the pilot, and their parents, Christina Mauser. I'm like, what the hell is this? Are you kidding me? Bro, you don't understand how much I was crying that whole day. Even my parents who aren't basketball fans, my mom, my dad, and my brother, they're all crying. All my relatives were, they're oh, it was so sad.
Dude, it was definitely the talk of the whole day. I know. I'm just my grandpa, he's a big news head too, and he loves basketball too. And I remember telling him, and he's just huh? You're not joking, right? I'm like, dude, no, I'm not joking, And then, yeah, I just remember that whole day, my dad and my grandpa, all they talked about was Kobe Bryant, and they're just, it's crazy to think because Kobe was young, he was 41, just 41 years old, and this happened.
Bro, literally left a huge hole into everybody's heart throughout the world.
And not just, yeah, exactly, not just LA fans. I know for a fact fans all around, just
Philippines, China, England, Belgium, countries in Africa, Australia, everybody throughout the world. Mm-hmm. They're all in shock. Excuse me, on Instagram, I would just look on the Explore page, everybody was posting about Kobe Bryant throughout the world.
Yeah.
It's insane to think about how a year passed already.
It is crazy thing. So it's needless to say what this episode's about. I think at this point, you guys already understand what we're about to go into, and yeah, let's get right into it.
Keyshawn, I know Kobe has left so many spotless plays and so many memories that everybody will always remember throughout the rest of their life. What is some memories that you remember from Kobe Bryant?
As a kid, vividly, so I made it clear throughout the podcast and throughout this channel that I'm a huge Boston Celtics fan. And one of my memories that I have of him is in the 2009-2010 finals against the Boston Celtics. And yeah, Kobe Bryant won this. This is his second back-to-back run. I just remember Kobe torching up the Celtics, night in, night out. His one-on-one matchups with KG and Paul Pierce. It was probably one of my favorite finals matchups up there, you know, even though the Celtics lost that matchup, I just got to see the greatness of Kobe Bryant, you know, and just the type of player he was, you know, to me at that moment, I know GOAT wasn't a word at that moment, but, you know, to me, that was my GOAT. Like, every generation has its like greatest player, and for my generation, for our generation, for us 2000s kids growing up, I think Kobe Bryant was our GOAT, you know.
Yeah, another memory that I will always remember is his last game against the Utah Jazz when he had six. Like right before the game, like me and my family we're gonna watch it. And I was like predicting like he was gonna get 45 points. Someone said 30, this or that. But as he scored 60 points at the end of the game, I'm
Yeah.
like, bro, this is insane. Going up against one of the more prolific teams in the NBA back when Utah Jazz had Gordon Hayward, primetime Rodney Hood. It was insane how he played. And obviously, we know that last game was going to be the highlight of Kobe Bryant. It was going to be all Kobe Bryant that night. But the thing
Yeah.
that he was going to score 60 points out of the 101 points that they scored to beat the Utah Jazz, that was crazy. And what I loved about it more is there was so many stars and celebrities like Jack Nicholson, Snoop Dogg, Shaquille O'Neal, Kanye West, Jay-Z. They were all there.
I
To
mean,
think
dude,
that he would,
it's like one of the biggest events, dude. Come to think of it, you know, like it's a farewell game. It's Kobe Bryant was leaving, and Kobe Bryant leaving is not a small thing, you know, because you got a player, a five-time champion, one-time MVP, you know, multiple-time All-Star, finally finishing his you know, his last couple of minutes in that game, you know, like his last game. That's no small thing. And scoring 60 points, because I remember I think Shaq challenged him to score 50 that game, and then
yeah,
he
I
set
remember
the one
that.
up to him.
I heard
Yeah,
him say that.
he gave him
And I was
60,
like,
and
you really underestimating the Mamba, huh? It's,
yeah.
it's crazy to think. But yeah, Kobe Bryant, he's a once in a lifetime player. We're not gonna see that many Kobe Bryant, like we're not gonna see that many Kobe Bryants. Because I'm not saying the NBA players today don't put up the work, but the type of work that Kobe Bean Bryant was putting up, I don't think anybody else will ever do what he was doing at the time.
No, I agree, man. And even off the court, man, the guy was a great businessman. You know, after
Oh,
he retired,
definitely.
he did so many great business choices. He started making an impact all over the world. I know, did he invest in body armor, right?
Yes,
I
he
think,
did. He only invested $5 million, and today it's worth $200 million.
yeah, and dude, I drink body armor all the time, and I'm like, man, yeah, this is a company that Kobe Bryant invested in. You know, that's the first thing that came into my mind. Another thing, Kobe Bryant was not only talented on basketball, he also made a short film called Dear Basketball, if you remember. You know, that
Yeah,
won
and he
the
won an
Oscar
Emmy
for best.
award. He won
Mhm.
an Emmy award for that too.
An Emmy and Oscar for best short film. You know, which is crazy to think. You know,
Did I see Emmy? Oh my god.
it's Oscar. I think it was just an
Yeah, I was
Oscar.
Oscar. My bad. I always mix those up for some reason. Yeah, I'm not myself today. Like I've just been really sad for the whole day, and I can't really think things through today. It's just
Mhm.
really sad. But is there like another memory that you remember from Kobe Bryant?
Man, dude, Kobe has so many different memories. I would have talked about the 81-point game, but I was only 5 years old, and I can't. I mean, I could go back on YouTube and watch it, but like talking from memory, I do remember his redeem team games, because I don't know about you guys, but I did watch Olympic basketball. Like, I mean, basketball is basketball, ball for life, you know. Ball is life. And I remember the Redeem team, the '08 Redeem team with LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, Kobe Bryant, Chris Paul, Dwight Howard, you know? And that team, I remember this is when Kobe brought back U.S. to the gold, you know? Because I think 4 years before, Manu Ginobili and Luis Scola and the team Argentina torched USA and Serbia and won the gold. So that's why they call it the Redeem team, you know? And Kobe
Redemption.
brought redemption team. Yeah, dude. And Kobe brought back the gold to USA.
Kobe Bryant was very nice on that USA team. I watched some highlights. Like I don't fully remember like the Olympic team when he was playing at the time, but I was watching some highlights, and I was like, wow. So like, this is who really he is as the Mamba, as a basketball player.
Yeah.
And another memory that I have is when he was in his very last All-Star game.
Oh yeah.
I remember some play, especially when he was going up against LeBron James, when he was like he wanted Kobe to go up against him in that one play, and then like Drake was like standing up like clapping because
Yeah,
like
that was
everybody.
in Toronto. I remember.
Yeah, it was in Toronto too, and everybody's giving like tributes, like thank you Kobe, like for 20 years, this and that, and I thought that was pretty cool, you know, with that hard work that he put, with putting a name, making a brand out of him, like
Hmm.
he really does like deserve all that respect.
And it's crazy to think, because NBA nowadays, like, it's hard to find loyalty. It's like if a player is loyal to a team, it usually turns out that they don't do much like on that team. And if they're not loyal, they usually end up winning championships. Kobe kind of like was an exception where he stayed loyal to the LA Lakers and brought them 5 championships, throughout his career.
Yeah, he did. Although he wanted to leave at the time, the Chicago Bulls, but I
Yeah.
respect him for staying. I definitely respect him a lot for staying and trusting the Buss family and also the whole Lakers organization, giving them
Mhm.
another chance to play with our amazing organization.
Yeah,
And
no,
he
man.
2 more championships,
Yeah,
which is
and
not think about.
see, Lover. I mean, I think at this point, at this day, like I think everyone loves Kobe. But like back in the day, I know how much people hated Kobe too.
Oh,
He was like a
people are
villain in the
talking
NBA.
mad shit about him. People are
And you know
talking
what,
shit.
man? I respected that because the guy like didn't care. He had that's the definition of ice and veins. Like what he did day in and day out. He knew people hated him. He knew he had a shit ton of haters.
And he
But the
loved
dude,
it.
he loved it. Yeah, he fed off that, and turned it into 60-point games, 50-point. He had like 4 straight 50-point games in the '08 season, I believe.
He literally outscored the Mavericks in three
Hmm.
quarters. Who else would do that shit?
No, definitely, bro. And come to think of it, who name? I think the only other player I could think of that spent 20 years with that same team or with their own team is Dirk Nowitzki. Kobe Bryant is in that conversation, for a guy because Michael Jordan eventually played for the Wizards, tail end of
Wizard
his
player.
career. And then you got LeBron James. He's been on 3 different teams now,
Tim
Kobe.
Duncan.
Tim Duncan was another guy who was on one team throughout his whole career. But with Kobe, that man, he stayed on the Lakers for all years.
And I respect that a lot. I'm not saying because I'm a Laker fan, but he truly stayed loyal to that organization
Hmm.
because he knows that at the end of the day, when he got drafted, Lakers saw something from Philadelphia, and that's
Right.
really like touched him a lot, and that's why he just stayed loyal to the organization.
Hmm. Yeah.
Oh no, man, it's just super sad. And I remember just about a year ago, me and my cousin went to Staples Center, like where's Microsoft and those restaurants, and there was like a memorial there, and we just like put flowers, we just put some items there. We were just like, we just stand there and like sobbing up, and we were just like sad. But we're paying our respects for him and for his daughter and for those other people who also died in that tragedy.
Hmm. I totally agree, man. I totally agree. And it just sucks, that there are so many of us like, I remember just growing up, I'm always like, I want to meet Kobe Bryant one time, just talk, like have a legitimate conversation with the guy. But obviously now that's not possible, it's just something we can only think about now. But man, I know for a fact we all only we're wishing best for the Bryant family, for the what can you Grant, if you don't mind, can you tell me the other names of the families as well? Hold on.
Yeah, man. So like aside from Kobe Bryant and Gigi Bryant, there's the Altobelli family, John Altobelli, Carrie Altobelli, and Alyssa Altobelli. There was Christina Mauser, who was, I believe, the basketball coach at Mamba Academy. There was Sarah Chester with Peyton Chester, and there was also the pilot, Ara Zobayan,
Hmm.
who all unfortunately died in that tragic accident.
Prayers
And
up to their family.
like it's so sad to like think about how it wasn't just adults. There's literally kids who died in that too, in that crash too.
Right.
Can you imagine? Like, You don't understand like how much that made me even more sad. That made me cry even more when I heard about that last year.
Dude, tell me about, because look, listen, like my little brother, he just turned 14 years old, you know, and he was 13 when this so last year he was 13 when this all happened, you know, same age as Gigi Bryant, you know. It I guess, like, you know, it just puts things into perspective. Like, you know, they die so young, you know, you don't want to think about that, but like that's the hard truth of reality. Anything's possible, you know. And it just, I remember thinking, I mean, this is a little off topic. I mean, I just remember thinking, just walking home anytime, I'm like, you know, death is looming everywhere. You know, you just can't, yeah, you have to expect it anytime, anywhere. That's the darkest thing I've said, but it's reality.
Yeah, man, it's the reality. Like, some people might like think about it in a different way, but what you're saying is the truth. Like, as we grow up more, we're maturing up. We're realizing that, like you said, death is like, it's a possibility that it could happen anytime. And guys, don't take your family for granted. Love them
Hmm.
as much as you can.
Yeah.
Because, like, God
I
forbid, like, you never know what could happen.
Yeah. And finally, you know, Kobe Bryant did one thing, made this obviously the Mamba mentality, you know, he created that for himself, but marketed as a thing that everyone can have. You know, what is the Mamba mentality? It's a mentality, an alpha mentality, where you could go ahead and go through anything with all, because Kobe Bryant, as a basketball player, he faced so much adversity, you know, he had so much shit that he took as a player, you know, with the whole Shaq and him feud. Then you obviously know the rape case that he went through, and then, you know, just he had so much shit that he had to endure, but he powered through it and showed us why he was why he was not a great player, why he was the greatest player of our generation, possibly the greatest player to ever play the sport.
And also being one of the more prominent icons throughout the world. There's
Hmm.
so many people like me and you and other people that look up to people like him because of his actions, what he's done to make the world a better place, to make basketball more entertaining.
Yeah.
People like all of us have so much respect for him because of what he's done on the court and also off the court. Making these books, putting up unbelievable numbers, being there for his family.
Yeah.
Although he's a busy man, he was always taking his daughter to basketball games, taking his little Capri daughter to the park. It's just
You know,
amazing to see stuff like that because not every kid has that opportunity to be with their daughter or with their dad.
right. And just shying back into that whole mama mentality thing, you know, I think everyone in life should keep some form of mama mentality, because it's not just for basketball. You can literally use mama mentality for anything, for doing schoolwork, for, you know, finishing projects, asking out a girl. You could use mama mentality, you know. Yeah, sorry. Like I was saying, yeah, like asking out a girl, literally anything in life, you could use Mamba mentality for, you know. But with that said, you know, today is gonna be a very hard day. I think this week is gonna be like just a heartfelt week, because everyone's gonna be going through, like, if everyone's gonna be in their feels. We're not gonna do a 5 minute fantasy today. This is just a video just for the Mamba himself. We'll do a 5 minute fantasy sometime this week. We appreciate the love and support you guys always send us. You know, feel free to tell us anything you want, any type of like shout outs you want, or just like any sort of video you want us to make. But with that said, this is Keyshawn Desai.
And Grant Corrine.
What can I say? Mamba out.